inside, the door is open. Let's go.
The main house is sprawling with 33 rooms and some mysterious spots.
The cops finally unlocked Micheal Jackson's forbidden garage, and what was hiding inside wasn't just valuable, it was unbelievable. Inside lay a secret empire of limousines, handwritten dreams, untouched cars, and memories the world was never supposed to see. And the craziest part? What they uncovered proves Micheal was quietly building an entire world we never even knew existed.
So much more being kept secret about this biopic. We do know that one of the filming locations is Michael's former home, Neverland, which Access has spent quite a bit of time at over the years.
Access Hollywood takes you over Neverland Ranch, then and now.
For years after Micheal Jackson's death, Neverland shifted from magic to silence. But one place remained sealed as if time guarded it personally: his private garage. Reinforced walls, no windows, a silent keypad, and a heavy steel door that looked engineered to stay shut permanently. People passed it for more than a decade, fully aware something waited inside, yet no one reached for the handle. Respect, uncertainty, curiosity. Everything kept it closed.
Was the beginning of the end for him.
Famous or infamous, one of the best-known people on the planet.
Rumors grew quietly but persistently. Some believed the garage stored unreleased music equipment. Others whispered about gifts his children gave him, vehicles the world never saw, even private journals no one ever opened. The longer it stayed locked, the more mythical it felt. Like the final piece of Neverland the world could only guess about.
It seems like it's abandoned. It seems like it was a dream that has somehow faded into memory, and it will never be the same again.
Then in 2025, during a full estate inspection, a direct order broke 15 years of silence. Everything opens today. Every room, every lock, every gate. The forgotten garage instantly shifted from background to centerpiece. It no longer felt like a storage room. It stood like the entrance to buried treasure. They were seconds from opening a time capsule, the last door into Michael's private world. Behind that steel barrier waited no dust, no emptiness, but something far bigger, an empire.
Right now from about Micheal Jackson, the king of pop, who's 50 years old. Let's go to Deborah Farrick. She's working the story for us. What are we picking up, Deb?
The team moved in with quiet focus. No crowd, no spectacle, just gloves on hands and tools ready. Estate officials, law enforcement, and security formed a perimeter. Each person aware they were standing in front of something untouched since the day Micheal Jackson left this world. A laser cutter traced the door's edge. Metal hissed, and the first bolt dropped to the floor with a sound that felt bigger than it should have. Another bolt gave way, then another, until the steel door shifted like a vault, letting go of its final secret.
We're getting some breaking news coming into the situation right now from about Micheal Jackson, the king of pop.
Light slipped through the opening first, thin, sharp, like a spotlight cutting into history. When the door swung wider, the smell of old leather and engine polish filled the air. Flashlights raised. No dust clouds, no abandoned chaos. Everything inside lay still, orderly, placed with purpose. As if Michael stepped out just moments earlier and expected to step back in again.
Here in Los Angeles, the investigation into Micheal Jackson's death has taken a dramatic turn. There are reports that police found Diprovan, a powerful anesthetic, in Micheal Jackson's house.
Weeks later, July 22nd, in a surprise raid, federal agents searched Dr. Murray's Houston clinic.
One officer said it before anyone else could process it. We didn't open a garage. We opened a preserved life. Because in front of them, under that first beam of light, was the beginning of a discovery no one was prepared for. Rows of untouched luxury vehicles, journals resting exactly where he left them, and a room frozen at the exact second Micheal Jackson's story paused. And this was only the first glimpse. The moment officers stepped inside, flashlights cut through the still air and hit chrome like sunrise across metal. Vehicles stood in formation, polished Rolls Royces, vintage Cadillacs, long black limousines, untouched, waiting, preserved as if their engines were meant to start again at any second. No dust storms, no collapse of time. Everything looked prepared, functional, almost ready for a driveway that never came.
cardiologist hired to care for the pop star as he prepared for the upcoming concert tour. June 26, the day after Jackson died.
The deeper they walked, the more the room shifted from garage to gallery. Seats remained soft, leather uncracked. Tires held full shape. Radio sat paused mid-track like someone pressed stop and walked away with the intention of returning. Across one wall, 3 velvet-covered notebooks rested on a metal shelf. Not display pieces, but working tools. Each label written in Michael's handwriting. Ideas, dreams, future shows. No mystery, just pure creation waiting for its next heartbeat. That moment changed everything. This place wasn't a storage room. It felt like a command center frozen in the middle of operation. Cars weren't collected for glory. They looked selected like chapters. Notes weren't souvenirs. They read like unfinished directions. This garage held movement, plans, future stages, future tours, future versions of Michael Jackson waiting for release. Inside that room, one thing became clear. Michael Jackson wasn't hiding memories. He was building the next era of his world.
911E that's been sitting in this barn since the 1990s, which is amazing. This thing is a total barn find.
The deeper investigators moved, the more it felt like the vehicles weren't just stored. They were curated. Each model held a timestamp, a mood, a layer of evolution. The 1985 Rolls-Royce Corniche, turquoise on white leather, marked the beginning of Michael's global rise. The thriller-era confidence, polished but gentle, powerful, yet composed. This wasn't a car for speed. It was an arrival statement, a moment where a young star stepped into adulthood with elegance instead of excess. Next sat the 1954 Cadillac Fleetwood, its squared shoulders and regal profile reflecting a more mature Michael. This was the era of bad and dangerous, the world tours, the royal handshakes, the global respect. The Fleetwood carried authority. It symbolized a man who understood influence and carried himself like someone aware of history. People drove that car to be seen. Michael preserved it to remember who he became.
A friggin' Mercedes sitting in the garage.
Just beside it, the Mercedes-Benz 500 SEL offered a shift in tone. Dark, subtle, armored with bullet-resistant glass. A luxury vehicle built for peace of mind. It represented a chapter where Michael traveled quietly, worked quietly, moved strategically, not hiding, directing. It was a machine built for long nights, business talks, decisions that shaped empires. And finally, resting like a crown jewel, the Phantom 6. Matte bodywork, cream interior, no rear windows. A private world on wheels. Screens replaced glass. Seats wrapped like a cocoon. This was the late-stage Michael. Selective, precise, protective of energy and space. Not withdrawing, but refining. Every car was a page. Together they formed a book. And this garage was the library. Past the rows of polished luxury, one vehicle broke the rhythm. A beige 1993 Ford E150 Econoline that looked almost ordinary under the warehouse lights. No gold trim, no velvet ropes, no royal presentation. It sat quietly among giants, and that contrast alone stopped the room. This wasn't just another machine. It was a hint that Michael had a separate world inside these walls, one built for imagination rather than display.
Take a computer hard drive, documents, and Rolodex cards. 5 days later, July 27th, a major bombshell.
When they opened the door, the illusion shattered. The interior was the opposite of plain. Deep blue velvet walls, soft leather seating, small televisions built into each headrest, even a mirrored ceiling that reflected light like a miniature studio. It felt like stepping into Michael's mind. Compact, warm, and wired for creativity. This wasn't transport. This was workspace. A mobile lab built to think, write, sketch, and escape. Behind the driver's seat, tucked in a side pocket, investigators found a thin, well-used notebook. Pages full of stage plans, children's story concepts, tour sketches, even a rough outline for a future album that no one had ever heard of publicly. These weren't fragments. They were unfinished futures. Visual proof that Michael kept dreaming long after headlines assumed otherwise. This van carried ideas, not passengers.
There's a lot of surprising information in here, Anderson. The search warrant says that they were looking for evidence, quote, demonstrating crimes of excessive prescribing and prescribing to an addict, also evidence of manslaughter.
And the most human detail? A Super Nintendo console still wired into the cabin wall, cartridges stacked neatly beside it. Street Fighter, Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, childhood in a box. The same console he reportedly used when Make-A-Wish kids visited. They played, laughed, drove around Neverland like they owned the night. This van wasn't flashy, rare, or collectible. Its value was invisible. It held something the Rolls-Royces never could. It held joy. Behind the Econoline, partly shadowed by a covered motorcycle, investigators discovered something heavier in meaning than any vehicle. 4 matte black crates, marked with the MJJ production seal. They appeared untouched, stacked with precision, secured like they were preserving something intentional. The scene felt less like storage and more like files waiting for their creator to return. Once open, the surprise was immediate. Inside lay blueprints, full-scale technical layouts for arena stages, hydraulic lifts, lighting rigs, multi-level performance platforms, and dome-style audience immersion. These documents carried detail meant for execution: measurements, timing sequences, dancer placement, pyrotechnic lanes, and stamped across one blueprint was a title that stopped everyone cold: History 2, The Resurrection Tour.
For the first time tonight, we've learned what investigators believe are the facts.
These plans showed ambition. They carried the same energy as peak-era MJ. Innovation, showmanship, spectacle built to surpass everything before it. Inside those pages lived an artist preparing something massive, something global, something evolution level. The garage didn't hold memories of the past. It guarded a future in full design. Deeper inside the final crate rested a folder titled Future Children Projects. Story concepts, short film frameworks, immersive music experiences crafted for young audiences sat inside. Ideas alive, structured, ready. The crates revealed a truth with weight. Michael was preparing the next world before the first one finished breathing. The discovery moved like wildfire. Curators, collectors, and historians instantly recognized the garage as a preserved time capsule of Michael's mind, a complete map of ideas frozen in place. Offers worth millions surfaced overnight, from single-car bids to full archive acquisition attempts, yet the estate followed one principle: everything remains whole, one story, one legacy. The fleet entered controlled preservation. Engines rotated, chrome maintained, fluid cycled, history kept breathing, and the room was resealed with climate systems, security glass, and archivists who treated it like a museum in motion.
For the Jackson, and he says that according to Randy Jackson, Michael Jackson's brother, Michael Jackson collapsed.
Fans worldwide understood the magnitude. This garage never represented leftovers. It represented blueprint and ambition, a future Michael prepared in silence. Today, it stands as one of pop culture's most intact legacies. 15 years untouched, discovered fully alive, maintained exactly as he built it. Artifacts fade. This one continues. Michael Jackson didn't just live history, he engineered it. And if you uncovered something Michael Jackson hid for a reason, would you keep it sealed or share it with the world? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe.
What is that? Oh my God.
Don't think we want to know, maybe?
Yeah.
I pulled that back. I was like, wow, I gotta stop watching Criminal Minds. It's the first thing that went through my head.
We had never seen anything like it. I had never seen anything like it.
And if you think that's where this story ends, let me tell you something far more disturbing. Because while one garage preserved dreams frozen in chrome and velvet, another garage within that same estate concealed a nightmare the world was never meant to witness. What investigators discovered there would shatter every illusion, expose every secret, and reveal the terrifying truth behind Michael's final moments on Earth.
taken to the hospital. There wasn't a bloody knife. There wasn't a smoking gun. There was nothing on the surface that would lead anyone to believe anything nefarious had occurred.
June 25th, 2009, 12:30 p.m. A 911 call ripped through Los Angeles like a scream cutting through silence. Emergency teams stormed Michael Jackson's rented mansion, adrenaline pumping, hands moving fast, expecting heart failure, maybe collapse, something clinical, something explainable. Paramedics rushed in, worked frantically, failed. Then they cleared out, and investigators began walking slow, methodical, room by room, door by door. Bedrooms, hallways, bathrooms, everything seemed normal, expected, quiet. Until they reached the garage, the door swung open and every person in that hallway stopped breathing.
At 12:21 this afternoon, the Los Angeles 911 operators took a call in regards to a need for a medical emergency.
Because what waited inside looked like something pulled straight from a nightmare. This place held secrets darker than anyone imagined. Shelves stacked with unmarked bottles, medical equipment scattered like a surgery interrupted mid-operation, IV stands reaching toward the ceiling like skeletal fingers, oxygen tanks lined against walls like soldiers guarding something forbidden.
We just talked to Brian Oxman. He is the family attorney for the Jackson, and he says that according to Randy Jackson, Michael Jackson's brother, Michael Jackson collapsed.
One investigator muttered under his breath, "What the hell happened here?" Nobody answered because nobody knew where to start. Prescription bottles, dozens of them, crowded every surface, labels missing, names scratched out, contents unknown. Some stood upright, organized with terrifying precision. Others lay sideways, caps half twisted, spilling remnants across metal shelves like evidence of panic.
Ooh. We cannot walk here anymore, given that it is completely fluted.
Syringes gleamed under fluorescent lights. Some sealed, some used, some abandoned mid-preparation. IV bags dangled from hooks drilled into walls. Tubing coiled across counters. Medical gloves scattered like discarded skin. This garage operated as a private emergency ward. Illegal, unsupervised, deadly. Toxicology reports would later scream what investigators already suspected. Propofol saturating his system at surgical anesthesia levels. Lorazepam, diazepam, midazolam, lidocaine, ephedrine. A pharmaceutical cocktail designed to stop hearts, collapse lungs, shut down brains. These substances belonged in operating rooms under trained anesthesiologists, behind locked cabinets, monitored by machines, administered with precision.
It was absolutely huge. There was a lot of pressure to get it right.
Instead, they lived here, accessible, unsecured, waiting. And Michael's body bore the evidence. Puncture wounds carved into arms, shoulders, neck, ankles, fresh bruising surrounding each entry point like dark halos marking repeated invasions. Scars layered over scars. Injection sites that told stories of desperation stretching back weeks, months, maybe years. His skin became a roadmap of pain management gone catastrophically wrong. Investigators pushed deeper into the space and the scene shifted from disturbing to absolutely chilling.
The emergency room physician, they believed it was a heart attack, partly because of what Mr. Murray had told them. Never told them anything about any other narcotics or anything. They just believed he had had a heart attack.
Oxygen canisters leaned against corners, clearly misused, clearly dangerous. IV equipment hung from makeshift rigging. Amateur setups that would make any medical professional recoil. A propofol bottle lay abandoned under furniture, rolled away and forgotten like discarded evidence from a crime scene still unfolding. Handwritten notes covered surfaces, taped to mirrors, stuffed between equipment, crumpled on shelves. Fragmented thoughts scratched in shaky handwriting. Obsessive reminders about breathing, about sleeping, about staying alive. Words that revealed a mind unraveling, grasping desperately for control while spiraling deeper into chaos.
Michael Jackson was a drug addict, and he was a master at manipulation because I was manipulated by Michael. I did not enable him.
Then came the artifacts that turned disturbing into deeply unsettling. Blown up photographs of babies plastered across walls, images enlarged to unnatural sizes staring down from every angle, lifelike infant dolls positioned throughout the space, tucked into corners, placed on shelves, their glassy eyes reflecting light like something watching, something waiting. The room felt wrong, fundamentally wrong.
I cared about Michael too much. I loved Michael. I haven't lost that love for Michael, despite the pain and suffering that I've encountered.
LaToya Jackson would later describe the isolation, how Michael lived upstairs completely alone, food left outside his door. Adults are forbidden from entering his private world. Total seclusion wrapped around him like a shroud. The garage became the physical manifestation of that isolation, a place where fear lived, where secrets multiplied, where one man tried controlling everything while losing control of absolutely everything. Michael Jackson's autopsy revealed horrors the stage lights never showed. Arthritis gnawing through his spine and fingers like rust-eating metal. Plaque choking arteries in his legs, starving tissue threatening collapse. Lungs scarred from chronic inflammation and bronchitis. Every breath a battle, every inhalation scraping against damaged tissue.
Never before heard details of the scene inside Jackson's bedroom on the day he died, including an attempt to shield the star's children from the desperate efforts to save his life.
The man who moonwalked across history carried a body breaking down from the inside. And the garage, this nightmare medical station, represented his attempt to fight back. Oxygen to force air into struggling lungs. Sedatives to silence screaming nerves. Painkillers to dull the constant war raging beneath his skin. Everything he thought would save him only pushed him closer to the edge. The irony cut deep and brutal. Michael Jackson, the master of control. Every dance step calculated, every performance engineered to perfection, tried controlling death itself. Surrounded himself with equipment, medications, tools designed to extend life.
A 4-second phone call from Jackson's second-floor bedroom. On the line, a stressed-out Dr. Conrad Murray to Michael Amir Williams, Jackson's personal assistant, who saved that voicemail on his smartphone and played it for the jury today.
And still it killed him. At a.m. Michael begged for sleep, pleaded for relief, demanded something, anything to shut his mind down and let him rest. Dr. Conrad Murray responded, administered drugs, powerful drugs, dangerous drugs, then walked away. Hours passed. Silence filled the house. Michael lay alone, chemicals flooding his bloodstream, drowning his system, shutting down critical functions. Chapter 21 p.m. Someone found him unresponsive. Murray panicked, delayed calling 911 for 21 minutes. 21 minutes where life drained away, where rescue became impossible, where every second mattered and every second was wasted.
He said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm downtown." And he said, "Get here right away. Mr. Jackson had a bad reaction. Get here right away." And I said, "What's going on?"
CPR performed incorrectly. Ribs cracking under desperate compressions. A balloon pump stabbed into his chest like a last-ditch effort to restart what had already stopped. 2:26 p.m. The King of Pop flatline. Dead, gone. Surrounded by everything meant to save him, and saved by absolutely nothing. The garage stood as silent witness to those final catastrophic hours. Watched Murray's negligence unfold. Watched warning signs get ignored. Watched a preventable death become inevitable. LAPD photographers documented everything. 155 crime scene images capturing pure chaos frozen in time. Medications scattered across every surface. Equipment positioned with eerie precision. Syringes lined up like soldiers. Oxygen tanks guarding corners. Dolls staring from shadows. Notes screaming silent warnings nobody heard. Every photograph told the same story. Desperation wrapped in obsession, surrounded by negligence, drowning in isolation.
Who races to the scene, goes up the stairs, and sees Conrad Murray working on the boss.
I saw Mr. Jackson's feet near the side of the bed on the ground. And as I continued to walk over, I could see the rest of his body.
Investigators stood in that garage knowing they weren't just documenting evidence. They were uncovering the final chapter of a man who gave the world magic and received tragedy in return. The scene shocked seasoned detectives, made hardened officers pause, forced everyone processing that space to confront something deeply human hidden beneath layers of fame and fortune. Here was Micheal Jackson, the untouchable icon, the moonwalking legend, the voice that defined generations, reduced to vulnerability, exposed, fragile, alone, surrounded by tools promising safety but delivering only silence. Legal battles erupted like wildfires. AEG and concert promoters faced brutal scrutiny, accused of ignoring warning signs, pushing a dying man toward stages he could barely stand on, prioritizing profit over survival.
To realize the type of case I was investigating.
When you get, hold of an investigation, you have to kind of whittle out what is and what isn't.
Fans dissected every photograph, every item, every note. Conspiracy theories multiplied, whispers about hidden agendas, about powerful forces, about truths buried deeper than anyone dared dig. The garage became more than evidence. It transformed into a symbol, a dark monument representing everything wrong with celebrity culture, with enabling, with watching someone spiral while pretending everything looked fine. Questions haunted everyone. How did it reach this point? Who knew? Who ignored the signs? Who let this happen? And the garage held those answers, locked inside its walls, embedded in its artifacts, written across every surface in a language of desperation nobody wanted to translate. Years passed. The fascination never faded. People still ask what else hid in that garage, what other warnings got missed, what secrets remained buried, what could have saved him.
Wooden floor over here. It's rotten. This villa is in a worse shape.
The room became a chilling reminder that fame protects nothing, that money buys everything except salvation, that genius means nothing when surrounded by people who enable destruction while pretending to provide care. Micheal Jackson's garage held more than evidence. It preserved the brutal truth about his final days, the dolls, the drugs, the cryptic notes, the medical equipment arranged like altars to false hope.
Later, when you're reflecting on this call, the days, the weeks, the months afterwards, one of the greatest regrets that all of us had.
Every item painted a portrait of brilliance colliding with vulnerability, of desperation meeting negligence, of a man who conquered the world but couldn't escape the nightmare built inside his own home. That garage door closed long ago, but what it revealed continues haunting us. A dark mirror reflecting the cost of isolation, the price of untreated pain, the tragedy of a system designed to protect but perfectly engineered to fail. The king of pop gave everything to the world, and the world gave him a garage full of death disguised as medicine, surrounded by silence, drowned in secrets, witnessed by dolls with glassy eyes and notes screaming truths nobody wanted to hear.